All right, so it's 4 o'clock. I want to welcome each and every one of you in person and joining us via Zoom, Google Meet, to our DLS presentation. This is our first presentation for the semester. This month, February 11th, was International Day of Women and Girls in Science. And so to celebrate that, I thought it would be wonderful to have our guest speaker today, Shubhangi, Rastogi, speak to us. So I met her at a conference back in December, where we were presenting a paper on our Industry Connect initiative. And I thought what she had to say was fascinating. And I thought you guys would really enjoy it, faculty and students alike. And she's just a very dynamic and interesting woman. And I wanted to be able to share that with you. And so she is an experienced researcher. She has a demonstrated history of working in higher education. And she's pursuing her PhD from Punjab Engineering College in India. So she is actually joining us at 3:30 a.m. her time. That's how dedicated she is to you guys and to her work. She's working as a data science intern at the Logically Advanced R&D in the United Kingdom and currently working on automated fake news detection concerning national security and politics. Now, she's worked on various data science projects with different government and private organizations, and her research interests are data science, social media analytics, artificial intelligence, and natural language processing, as well as applied machine learning, statistical techniques, data mining and visualization, predictive modeling, big data analytics, and information warfare. She's published about 10 papers in various international journals and conferences. And recently, one of her papers was published in a SciIndex journal, in the Journal of Cybernetics and Systems. So this was based on the visualization of Twitter sentiments on customer territorial, I cannot speak right now, territorial conflict. She's worked as an assistant professor for more than 5 years in various engineering colleges in India, and she was actually the keynote speaker at Al-Azhar University in Egypt back in 2019. So she's accomplished quite a lot in a short period of time here. So it's my pleasure to present to you Mrs. Shubhangi Rastogi, who will be talking to us about, can data science actually spot fake news?
Yeah. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. I hope you are able to hear me. And thank you for this wonderful introduction, Professor Boni, and also giving me this opportunity to speak in front of you all. And okay, so let's get started. We are here to, discuss data science, fake news, and stuff like that. Okay, so the topic of this session is, can data science spot fake news? So data science. So before, starting with data science, okay, first of all, I would like to let you know that first we will, discuss data science, a brief introduction of that, and then we will move to fake news, and then we will get to know that how data science can actually help in detecting fake news. So data science. Okay, so before starting with data science, we should talk about data. So I think every day we all are creating a massive amount of data by communicating with each other on WhatsApp, or by posting anything on social media platform, like posting a picture on Instagram, posting anything, posting a tweet, posting anything on Facebook. So such kind of activities, actually you are actually generating data by using your phones or other gadgets. So here it's a big responsibility for me, and I would really like to thank you all for holding yourself back to create those gigabytes and giving me your attention. So yes, it's a big responsibility because I'm going to introduce you to data science while stopping you to create those gigabytes or those data. So first we will start with what data science is. So you must have heard different questions like artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, and I think in business communications or in general communication, we use these terms interchangeably. But unfortunately, these terms are different, and the context behind these, terminologies is distinct. So first, talk about artificial intelligence, AI, the most happening thing. Okay, so artificial intelligence is about giving machines the capability of mimicking human behavior. You're transforming the human behavior, and so that machine can actually copy it and behave in the same way as we do. While machine learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence, or it is a tool of AI, we'll say, which basically, the capability that machine learn from experience. Right? So AI, artificial intelligence, is the capability of mimicking human behavior, while machine learning is actually a tool of AI through which machine learn from experience. So experience, what is it? Experience comes from data. And here comes the data science in the picture, where we are dealing with data. We are actually giving data a value. We are creating a value from the given data. So there are like multiple tasks involved in data science, like machine learning is one of that, uh, and data preparation, visualization, statistics, recommendation engines, mathematics, and like so many. So yes, I would not say that in this session you are going to, learn everything related to data science, but yes, you will definitely get to know that data science is the happening thing, and you will, get kind of attracted with this research field. And if you want to start your career as a data scientist, then yes, you can. Get to know a lot of terminologies that data scientists are actually using. I hope I'm audible to all. And if there is any question, any query in between, you can ask me anytime, stop me, and, just shoot me. Okay. So, data science, an emerging field. So, the goal of any data science project or any data science application is basically to turn data into data projects. So the future belongs to those companies and people that turn data into products, right? Okay, so whenever we talk about data science, we actually talk about different models or modeling, such kind of terms. So we will first, start with this. Okay, so whenever you're writing any program, like any program in language C or any Java language or any language, what do you exactly do? You give input X and the program will give you the corresponding output Y. For example, you're writing a program for the addition of two numbers, right? We are finding out the summation of two numbers. So we will give two numbers as input X, and the output would be the summation of those numbers, Y. Right? That's what we generally do while programming. But what happens with machine learning? We give input X. We also give output to the machine learning, and machine learning will give you a model. Okay, what is it? If we are giving input as well as the output, what exactly the machine learning is doing, because we already know the output. So yeah, here, the data science is the process of building a representative model that fits the observational data. Okay, so in machine learning, what we give input X, we give input Y to the machine learning model. This will give you a representative model, and this model will actually do the work. So what machine learning is doing, it is finding out the patterns, like how Y is calculated using right? So it will observe different patterns. Machine will learn that how y is actually calculated, or a kind of dependencies, like for example, we are applying some function f over x, and then this is giving us a output y. So this will basic machine learning will actually calculate all these things, will observe the patterns, will observe the relationship between that, the dependencies between input and output, and stuff like that. It will learn basically how the y is computed from x. With this learning, it will give us a representative model in which whenever we give input x, it will predict the output y. So we will not say that the predicted output is always the correct one. It can be incorrect because it depends on how accurate your model is, how what kind of information you have given to your machine so that it can learn properly. So it depends, like there are so many things like accuracy, precision, which through which we actually evaluate our model, and we'll get to know that this model is actually giving us the correct results. So I hope I'm clear till now, right? Because this is a kind of very basic, very naive introduction of machine learning. And with the help of this, we will eventually move ahead. Okay, so we'll start with data science tasks now. There are different data science tasks like classification. Classification is like we are classifying our data into different groups. For example, we have a problem that we have multiple data. We have, for example, different emails, and we need to, classify the emails into two categories: spam or ham. So this kind of work can be done with the help of data science. Data science can also do regression, where regression is actually about not predicting any value. It is about giving us some numerical value. So regression is like machine is learning from the historical data and giving us a numerical value as the output, not, as a variable. Then clustering is like data science in, your model is actually learning the patterns, or I would say the similar properties between the data, and it will cluster, it will divide the data into different groups with the help of these similar attributes or similar properties of the data. So the kind of data having the similar properties, similar features are actually clustered in one group and others in another group, and so on. There are some other tasks which data science do is like anomaly detection, where which is basically the outlier detection. For example, we have a lot of data, maybe numerical data there that has a lot of numeric values. Then anomaly detection is about finding out that value which is different from the generic values in the data. So this is anomaly detection, deep learning, text mining, feature selection, recommendation engines. So yeah, we will get to know these terms in the subsequent slides here. Okay, so Python. It is the in thing right now because it is the most popular programming language for implementing anything in data science. There are other programming languages as well, like R, SAS, etc. But Python is the most popular one because it has a lot of inbuilt libraries and frameworks through which we can, generate any kind of data science project with a very minimal programming, right? And also, one of the major advantage of using Python is it is compatible with other softwares as well. So for reproducibility, what we do is we write any code in Python, and it can be reused in some other form, right? So that's why Python is the most popular programming language for any data science project. And if you want to start your career as a data scientist, then yes, you can start working with this language, Python. Okay, so I hope you heard this. So the sound is actually to wake you all up. Okay, actually not, because Netflix is actually one of the biggest application of data science. So data science is Netflix. Okay, there is some pop-up. Yeah, good. Cool. So, okay. So if, Reed Hastings, CEO of Netflix, has said this thing. If the Starbucks secret is a smile when you get your latte, ours is that the website adapts to the individual taste. So whatever you see in your Netflix account is actually the customized information you are able to see, right? So Netflix will know everything. Netflix will know when a person stops watching it. They have all their algorithms and will know that this person watched 5 minutes of a show and then stopped. They can tell by the behavior and the time of the day that they are going to come back to it based on their history. So, whatever we are doing with our Netflix account, like we watched a show and we added to our watch list, or and for how much time we have watched it. So, such kind of information, such kind of data is actually stored by Netflix. And with the help of this data, we will predict that what kind of shows would be liked by you in future. So Netflix actually run a different kind of machine learning algorithms. So Netflix will give this information, like the number of shows you have watched, what shows you have added in your watch list, and such kind of stuff. In the machine learning algorithm, machine learning will observe the patterns, like what you are actually doing it, at what time you are actually using your Netflix account, such kind of information. It will observe the pattern and then find it out that yes, this person would more likely into such kind of shows, maybe comic shows, or well, you are working with. So everybody is having a different taste. So we all have a unique taste about the shows that we watch. So yes, Netflix will store every user's data and it will predict according to every user. So this is a near real-time recommendation engine, right? So yeah, Netflix is one of the biggest application. It is using uh, uh, data science as their basic algorithm. So yeah, this was all about data science. Not all about, I would say, a very less percentage about data science, but yes, to move ahead, that was, I think, enough. Now we will move to a real problem, which is fake news. So first, I would like to, give you a brief introduction about this research area, like the terms that we use while we are dealing with this research area, fake news detection. And this is also a very happening thing, a very popular research area right now, because there are a lot of fake news is evolving on different social media platforms and any digital source. Whenever any event happens, uh, with the verified information, a lot of fake news also evolved, which is actually, disturbing the general public of the country, or uh, you know any user, or especially youth, because generally nowadays youth is accessing news from social media platforms. They are using Twitter or Facebook for accessing the current news of their country or of the world. So that's why it is a very important research area, and it's a very crucial problem, I would say, nowadays. So there are three types of information disorder. You must have heard the terms misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. These terms are actually different. Misinformation is the most simple form of uh, false information. So we are dividing these three terms on the basis of the degree of falseness and the intent to harm the public. Right. So misinformation is basically the unintentional spread of fake news that we generally do. What we do whenever we see any news on social media or any tweet, we retweet it. If we are not aware that the particular content, particular piece of news is fake. So if the user is spreading any kind of news, any kind of fake news specifically, unintentionally, then this kind of information is known as misinformation. Disinformation is basically when somebody is aware that this piece of information is fake, but still, the person has some hidden agenda, to create the conspiracy theories and rumors. So so if a person or a user is spreading fake news, false information intentionally, then this comes in the category of disinformation. Then here it is malinformation, which is the most harmful form of false information, where the deliberate publication of private information for personal or corporate rather than the public interest, for example, revenge porn, right? So these are the three uh, terms when we use when we talk about false information or fake news. So these are the instances of fake news which actually show us that there is an explosion of fake news on digital sources. So I tried to, put less controversial content here. With COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of health-related rumors, a lot of, uh, fake news related to vaccination were spread on social media platforms. So there were fake news like vaccination is dangerous and it will cause a global catastrophe, and it causes depopulation. So this kind of fake news that was spread on fake news on social media or on any online source is very threatening for the general public. There was also a fake news very popular recently that did a women's brain leak after COVID swab test. So, such kind of information, which was, gets viral on social media. So this needs to be detected, right? And okay, so there are different terms. I'm just going to quickly, make you familiar with these terms like hoax. You must have heard this term hoax. Hoax is a kind of fake news, uh, but it is different, where we will say the half of the content is true while other half is false. So such kind of news is hoax. For example, if we talk about this particular instance, Mark Zuckerberg, his death news was, the fake news was very viral uh, uh, on different platforms. So this comes in the category of hoax because such kind of fake death rumors are of celebrities are like hoaxes, right? So the half of the news, because he was actually suffering from some disease, was true, but his death was actually false. So such kind of content where half of the news is true and half of other half is false comes in the category of hoax. There are other kind of fake news or false information like rumor. Rumor is when we don't know that this particular news is real or it's true or false for a long period of time. So here we can see one rumor. Is it dangerous to answer your cell phone while it's charging? So this rumor was very popular for a very long period of time where people were actually thinking that this is true. But after few months, this was declared that this is not a universal fact. This may happen if there are some other parameters as well, but this is not a universal fact. So rumor is when it is when the I would say the degree of falseness or whether the news is fake or real is not known uh, for a long period of time. I mean, the output is anonymous for a good period of time. There are other kind of false news as well, like clickbaits. You must have heard this term, clickbait. Clickbait is different. Clickbait is basically those attractive headlines, like if we say men tries to hug a white line. So such kind of content is basically written to uh, uh, attract the audience and to allure the audience, I would say. So nowadays, fake news has become an industry on its own. People are paid to write fake content or clickbait content to allure the audience. Where I mean, uh, uh, so I mean, it's a business also right now. Fake news. So there are like different kinds of false information. So I just discussed here hoaxes, rumors, clickbaits, fake content when the news is completely fake. There is one more, satire. Satire or a sarcasm content. So this should be considered differently because it is just written for the entertainment purpose or it's just written for the fun. So there should be a different room for satirical news, but this is also a kind of false information. Okay, now where we are going to, understand that how data science can spot fake news. So this is a generic methodology that we follow while we are actually working with data science. So what we do first, we have to collect the data. You know, First, we need to get a sufficient amount of data which we can convert into some meaningful information or some valuable form, right? So, first step of this data science is collecting or curation of data. So, if you are working on fake news detection, so you need to, collect the data for fake news. Then the second step is data pre-processing. So if you are actually, willing to start your career as a data scientist, this is the most important step, which actually a lot of data scientists are actually lacking. A lot of companies are going into losses because they are not, dealing with this particular step, data pre-processing. uh, I mean, they are not giving much attention to this step. So, what pre-processing is, whenever we collect data from multiple platforms, like for example, we are collecting data from Twitter. So, it's in a very unstructured format. A lot of misspellings are there, a lot of abbreviations are used, or I mean, which requires a lot of cleaning so that we can convert this unstructured data into a structured form, right? So this is data pre-processing, and we often call it data cleaning. Then here comes the annotation part as well. So if we are dealing with machine learning or techniques like that, we have to give the annotations. Annotations is basically the labels. So as I said earlier, while describing the machine learning model initially, what was it? We have to give the input as well as the output so that machine can learn that how y is uh, computed from x. So that's why whenever we are giving input to any model, we have to give a label, right? So for example, in this context, like fake news detection, we are collecting data from Twitter. So a lot of tweets are fake in that, a lot of tweets would be real in that data set. So we have to first give each tweet a label, whether this tweet is fake or real. That's why, I mean, what we are doing it, we are giving tweets as input and the output that we want to know whether the news is fake or real also as an input. So that machine can learn that how what kind of news is actually I mean or I would say is actually or it's like what kind of news may be fake. Then here comes the third step, that is the selection of a classification model or a technique. So a lot of techniques are there uh, for classification, like machine learning. There are different machine learning classification algorithms are there. There are different deep learning algorithms and other techniques as well for the classification of data. So need to select a suitable classification algorithm as per the data we are investigating. Then the next step is feature selection or feature engineering. So what we are giving till now is like tweets and the corresponding label, right? Fake or real. But with this, we should give the machine some other information as well. So this other information is basically the features, which are basically going to assist the machine learning to learn or get trained in a better way. Then the next step is the performance evaluation. Then we have to evaluate that how machine has learned your data. So we have to evaluate it. So there are different things like accuracy. We calculate that how accurate the machine is, and then there comes the validation that yes, the machine is predicting uh, this much. So how correct it is. So we have to validate it finally. So this is basically the generic methodology for any data science project and for fake news as well. So what we do, we collect the data first, we pre-process it, we select a particular technique on which we are going to work with. Then we give some additional information as features to assist our machine learning model or any technique, and then we will evaluate our approach or our framework, right? So this is a generic this thing. So we will go these steps one by one. First, the data collection. So for data collection, like I said initially, we all are producing gigabytes of data every day by communicating with each other or by posting anything. So we can collect such data from social media platforms, news website, other resources. For example, if we are working on recommendation engines, uh, we are working on in Netflix. So we are, collecting the user data of Netflix users. So such kind of that. I mean, we have to, collect the data. We have to, curate a sufficient amount of data set. So, while dealing with fake news, textual data is the basic form of data, but yes, fake news is actually evolved in the form of images and also videos, but that's a more complex form of data. So initially, we should, first work with the textual data, and then we can, move to the complex data sets as well. Then here comes the most important, the most valuable step of data science, that is the pre-processing of data. So these are like different terminologies. You don't need to, understand each of them right now if you are, you know, uh, starting it, uh, uh, starting this field. So there are terms like tokenization. We actually divide the data. For example, we have a sentence, so we will divide it into different words, and each word is basically considered as token, and it will be converted into different vectors. So why we are doing is because machine are not able to understand the text or your language, for example, English. Machine, does not understand any kind of human language. It can understand vectors. So we have to, convert our data into different tokens and into vectors. So, and there are part of speech tagging, there are grammatical parsing, chunking, stemming, uh, stop word filtering, lemmatization, and stuff like that. So stemming, lemmatization are basically, for example, there are three words in your sentence: book, booking, and books. So book, maybe if we say it's a noun, it's a book. Booking is basically maybe a verb, you are booking something, and books is like this. So what lemmatization, basically stemming does is it converts each word to its root word. It will delete the suffix from the word. For example, if there is a word booking, so it will convert this word booking into book, its root word. It will convert booked to its root word book. If it is like a word gone, so it will, convert this word to go as its initial root of the word, right? So, but yes, when we are handling such kind of pre-processing techniques, we need to be very careful, because if we convert booking into book, uh, so this may, change the context behind the text. Maybe that, because we are, converting a verb into a noun. So we need to be very careful while we are dealing with uh, uh, data cleaning. So that's why it's a very important step, right? So because the meaning should not change while we are cleaning the data. Okay, so this is like the feature extraction. That is the next step of data science. So this is like fake news and everything related to that. So if you are, interested in this is research area, fake news detection, then this figure is, I mean, you need to learn this thing. Initially, fake news detection can be divided into four perspectives. First, on the basis of news content, then on the basis of social context, on the basis of creator or spreaders, on the basis of target victims. So, if we are detecting fake news on the basis of content, what is it? There are a lot of psychological theories which says that the style of writing of a fake content and a real content is different, right? So we need to understand the linguistic or syntactical features of the text. And also sentiment is a very important feature for this, because most of the fake content are written in a, on a very high sentimental value. For example, a lot of anger is there while we are writing a fake content, or a lot of, I would say, sadness is there in the text, in the fake text. so that we can attract the audience. So sentiment is like very important. If we can detect sentiment analysis is also a research area on its own, but we can use it in this research area, fake news detection. So this is like we are dealing with the content. Then the second perspective for detecting fake news is social context. Social context is like extracting the propagation patterns, that how the news is actually propagating on social media, like the user engagement, the number of likes on a fake tweet is getting, number of shares, number of retweets is it getting. So the stuff like that, right? So this is also a fact that fake news is spread faster or farther as compared to real news, because it attracts audience. Then there is another perspective like target victims. We need to analyze this thing, that what kind of audience it is actually going to deal with, right? So we need to understand uh, the particular group of people which are going to be affected by such kind of content. Then there is one more very important perspective for fake news detection, which is creator. Who is actually creating the fake news? So there are real humans like us. We also, can create fake news. So whenever any event happens, for example, if there are elections approaching, a lot of fake accounts are generated specifically to create fake news. So we need to analyze things like what was the registration age when the account was actually created. So if it is just created when this event happened, or when this kind of stuff is actually very popular on social media, so we need to consider this as a parameter for fake news detection. And the location of the user, the number of followers, number of posts, post frequencies. So such kind of parameters or features are basically given to the machine with uh, textual data, so that machine can actually learn in a better way. It will help machine to predict a correct output. And there are some non-human creators as well, like bots. You must have heard this term, social bots. These are the autonomous softwares which can produce anonymous amount of data, in a massive form. It will keep on creating, recreating a particular content. So bots are like giving us a big challenge for fake news detection. So what these things are actually the features that we can give to the machine, so that machine can learn in a better way. Uh, while we are training any machine, or whenever a machine is learning, so this is better that we give a lot of information, more information, uh, an improved model it will be. Right. So this is a generic thing. This is not a universal fact that we have to, give machine any kind of information. The information should be relevant with the data, obviously. If we give irrelevant information to machine, then it will get confused like us, and it will give us incorrect outputs. So the input should be correct while we are dealing with machine learning or any data science technique. Okay, so this is a very popular example of fake news. Whenever you search fake news on Google, this you are definitely going to see. So this is what is like whenever we see any post, this is basically a Facebook post. we need to see these things. Like first, A is the spreader. The who is this person, or what is this account who is sharing this information? We need to check this, the credentials of this particular account. Then the comes B, which is news content, what this news is saying. And then here comes the social context, like C, that uh, when this news was shared and how it is engaging the public, like the number of likes is it getting, the number of comments, number of shares it is getting. And then here comes the target. So target are basically the people who are commenting on a post, because they are getting affected from this post. That's why they are, posting the comments or giving their opinions over this particular news content. So whenever we are dealing with fake news, we need to, see these four things, and these four things are basically these four perspectives, right? So I think now you can relate that how these features are extracted. These features are similar, like we as human, how we should analyze any news if it is given on fake news, on any, for example, on Facebook. So if we are able to see any piece of information on Facebook, then how we are perceiving it, the same way machine should do. So we, check such kind of information, like who is the creator, what is the content, who is the what is the social context, how it is, interacting with the other users, what are the target victims. So such kinds of stuff we should actually look at while we see any kind of information on Facebook, Twitter, or on any social media platform. So we should give this information to machine as well, so that it can learn, uh, in a good way. Uh, okay, so while we are dealing with fake news detection using data science, the time of detection is very important. While we are detecting the fake news at early stage or mid stage or late stage. Early stage detection is actually required to mitigate this problem of fake news, while late fake news detection is actually the most accurate one. Why? Because whenever a news is evolved on social media initially, and it is not very popular, it doesn't get viral right now at a very early stage, then we have a very limited amount of information related to that. Like only the, for example, if you're talking about Twitter, we only have the tweet, the text. So we have to give this tweet as an input to the machine learning. While we are uh, uh, dealing with any news or any fake news which has deeply propagated in the social media networks, and it is like viral, then there would be a lot of information apart from just the tweet. For example, the number of likes it is getting, the number of comments it is getting, and how this news is actually shared by different users, and which users are actually sharing it. And enormous amount of information is available when a news is actually viral on fake news, obviously, but the damage has already been done. So that's why the late fake news detection uh, 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 is not important for the mitigation of this problem or to combat this fake news detection problem, but uh, this is the most accurate one we can work with data science. While with early detection, it's not that accurate, but yes, it is required right now. So, as I just mentioned, like sentiment analysis is also an research area, and it is one of the important feature of uh, fake news. So, this is one of my papers in which I have actually done the visualization of Twitter sentiments on Kashmir territorial conflict. So, Kashmir is basically a state in India, which is disputed strait between the two nations, India and Pakistan. So there is some controversial thing which is going on at this state in our country, India. So since I'm working on fake news detection concerning national security, so that's why I worked on this particular topic. And what I did, I visualized the Twitter sentiments of different users using Twitter. So with the help of that, I am able to, get to know that what kind of sentiments or what kind of opinions people are sharing on this particular subject. So there is a myth that the two nations, the people of these two nations, India and Pakistan, who are involved in this particular state dispute, are full of negative emotions. But with this help of with this with the help of this study, I am able to show that no, if there are negative sentiments, there are positive sentiments as well. And also, I'm able to detect a lot of top influencers which are talking about this topic, and so that how it can help. This paper actually is able to help in this way. For example, I have extracted a lot of top influencers from different countries and different regions. So these top influencers can be monitored by government authorities or the authorities which are there in your national security agencies. And they can monitor such accounts and then take the popular actions, because these top influencers are, uh, the most effective one, because they can try to incite violence among the users. So, you can go through this paper to understand that how we can visualize the data and to convert our data into a meaningful form, right? So there are a lot of data on Twitter. So how I used this particular data from Twitter into a meaningful form and converted it into a value which can be used, right? So visualization is an important thing for data science, because if we are able to see something, we are able to understand it in a better way. So uh, data science, visualization is one of the important tasks. So what we have done till now, we have collected the data, we have cleaned it using pre-processing techniques. We have also extracted the features, basically the additional information. Now comes the detection techniques. So there are multiple techniques like machine learning techniques. I hope I'm not running out of time. Okay, so uh, I just want to, just to be sure if there is any question or if there is any query, or if uh, is there anything. Okay, I think it's going fine till now. So here comes the detection techniques. The detection techniques are like the machine learning techniques, yeah. So whenever you are dealing with machine learning detection techniques, you must have heard the terms like supervised learning, unsupervised learning. In supervised learning, we give labels as well as the input. Labels is basically the output. And in unsupervised learning, we actually don't predict anything. We discover the hidden patterns from the data, and it will give you a kind of insight from the data. So, we are not going to deeply uh, understand these terms. It is just to show you that these are the terms that you need to understand while starting with any data science project, right? And there are different terminologies as well, like overfitting, underfitting. Uh, when we are, training any machine learning model, there are a lot of challenges involved. The machine may overfit, underfit, and we have to deal with it. So a lot of hyperparameter twinning, We have to evaluate the performance of machine learning model with the help of confusion matrix. I mean, I'm just telling you these terms just to let you know, just to make you familiar with different terms that we as data scientists use while working on any project. So these are like very basic terms. And there are some advanced techniques. So if we consider the current scenario, transformers are the most happening thing right now. Uh, a lot of thing is happening with transformers. So I mean, it requires a lot of study. So this is the methodology again, like data collection and then pre-processing and then feature extraction and then you know going to machine learning and deep learning. So I'm not going to go into details because we are running a little short of time. Before this, I would like to make you understand few terms more. Like, yes, uh, are you able to understand that, yes, with the help of data science, we can detect fake news, but it is not that easy because there are a lot of challenges like echo chambers. So, whenever we are dealing with any social media platform, specifically Facebook, the algorithms running behind such platforms are biased. We are in a filter bubble. What these algorithms, how they are biased, like whenever we like something on social media, it will show you the similar content. For example, we are liking a one particular political party, right? And we are liking any content related to that particular political party, so it will show you the similar content and you will have a biased opinion. You will not get to know the other side of the story. So, whenever you are using social media platforms, we are actually in a bubble. Whatever we are liking, we are able to see only that, right? So, these are echo chambers. Then, yes, AI, artificial intelligence, is like very helpful for detecting fake news. But yes, it can also produce misinformation. So transformers, like I said, the most happening thing, use natural language processing to generate human-like texts. So if you can see this particular text, APT33 is exploring physically disruptive cyber attacks on critical infrastructure. So this particular piece of information is actually AI generated. This is not written by human. This is written by the machine. This whole text. So, for example, I'm giving you a very a very basic example of this thing. Like whenever we are writing anything on Gmail, it will show you. For example, we have written a half sentence, then the other half of the sentence will be predicted. Like, yes, you should be, you may be writing this. So it will give you different options of, uh, so I mean, whatever you are writing, the machine is writing the uh, next half of the sentence, right? So this is because of the AI. So that's why AI can generate fake news. So whenever we are using AI to detect AI generated fake news, it becomes very difficult. So here, this is, I just want to, show you that this is a fake Obama, which was created using AI video tool. So I would like to just show it.
Thinking about my full-time employees, their ability to survive on $8 an hour in New York City. Foremost in all of our
But so, and initially it was true, but now this is fake. This is not what Obama is actually speaking about. So the universities of Washington, researchers from Washington University has created it. They used neural network and AI, and they mapped their model to this footage and the audio. And the researchers used 14 hours of footage of Barack Obama to produce this video.
Small confines of the legal community.
So now they can match any audio to this synthetic Obama. So So this is a very popular AI generated video.
Make sure you use a lot of thought.
So you can see somebody else was speaking this, and it is mapped to the other person.
We are
And
developing technology. Every technology can be used in some negative way, and so we all should work towards making sure that it's not going to happen. And even one of the interesting directions is that once you know how to create something, you know how to reverse engineer it. And so you can, and so one could create methods for identifying edited videos versus real videos.
okay, so that's why AI is like very helpful for detecting fake news. But yes, it is generating fake news as well. Now, thank you all for giving you your attention. And I mean, data sciences actually comes through failed experimentation. So you need to experiment with data science projects, and I mean, a lot of failures will happen, and then only you will understand that how I should, proceed with any specific problem. So here it's all about this session, which I was, covering. So if there is any question or anything, we can discuss.
All right, so we have a question here in the Invoke Lab. I'll ask you to come up and talk into our microphone so everyone can hear you if you don't mind.
So towards the end of the video, whenever they were talking about the deep fake videos of Obama, he said that we could reverse engineer. Like once we had a technique to fake a video, we could reverse engineer it to detect the fakes. Can you do a very similar thing with the fake news, the AIs that are generating these fake news articles? Like target those specific models? Like train an AI to detect those particular models?
Yes. I mean, like I said, transformers is the most happening thing. It is actually working with the AI generated content. So it is able to understand the machine generated fake videos or fake content. I mean, in any form, maybe images, text, or videos. So yes, there are techniques. Yeah. Thank you.
Or from the virtual audience, if you'll tweet your question or chat your questions, not tweet them, don't tweet them. We don't want to get involved in that. Anyone else here? Yeah, come on up.
So you talked a lot about kind of the content of fake news, what defines it, etc. But obviously, I guess the big difference tends to be one is real, one is fake, fact versus fiction. But as far as I've heard, there's not much in the way of making AIs that can really distinguish if something is actually factually true, except for comparing to maybe other articles that were real. Is there anything on that?
Okay, I mean, I talked about initially the different kind of fake content, but basically the methodology that we used is like how we can detect fake news using data science. So there were different steps that I was, talking about, like data collection, features given to the machine learning models, and the inputs that we give, how the machine learning actually gets trained with the data and the features that we are giving as an input, and how it is actually detecting whether the content given is fake or real. So, that's a basic methodology. It was just a 1 hour session, so I could not, explain each and everything. I could only explain a generic methodology that we follow, like these are the steps, these are the terminologies that we use, just to make you familiar with it. But I mean, I'm open. I mean, you can email me or anything if you want to work on any project on fake news detection. I can, guide over it in detail.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you so much, Shubhangi. We really appreciate you taking your time this early morning hour to be with us and to help our students better understand data science and its relation to fake news detection. I don't think I want to make sure I don't miss any questions, but we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Boning, for this opportunity. Thank you.